We all want to live our best life. We want to live a happy and full life. And yes, we can all live extraordinary lives. But life is governed by principles. So understanding the underlying principles that drives your life is very, very important to living the life of your dream. So today in this video, I decided to share with you guys the guiding principles that I live by, and I hope it inspires you to look inwards to figure out what drives your life. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Hello beauties, and welcome back to my space, the Girl to Mom channel. And if you're new here, my name is Yemi, and this channel is all about inspiring you to own your life, live up to your potentials, and be your best self. So it is okay to click the subscribe button to join this lovely and growing family, okay? And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my uploads. All right, today I'm going to share with you guys the guiding principles that I live by for an extraordinary life. I am a Christian and I live by the principles in the Bible. I live by the principles of my faith, and that is very basic for me, okay? But the principles I'm going to talk about in this video are the things that I have learned through my journey and my experiences, and so they have become like the principles that I live by. So the first principle I live by is everything I do, I bear the consequences. This is the principle that I am responsible for my success and my learning pointers. And this is one principle that I learned from my father, from the story he used to tell my siblings and I told that story in my very first YouTube video, okay? So you might want to check that out. But that taught me that I am responsible for the outcome of my life. Nobody is in charge. Nobody is responsible for the decisions I make, the outcome of those decisions. So people can influence my decision, they can toughen the process, they can ease the process for me, but they don't get to lay claim to the outcome of that decision. It's just the same way someone can invest in you, someone can sponsor your education, but at the end of the day, their names will not be on the certificate or on the award of achievements that you get, even though they are the ones who invested in you, okay? So nobody is responsible for the outcome of my life. I am responsible for everything. So that tells me to choose wisely, to make better and informed decision, even as a young girl, as a young lady with my future in mind, you know. So I know that I am responsible for everything that happens to me. So if I choose to be the driver in this vehicle, you know, through my journey, if I choose to be the driver or I decide to take the back seat, I should be ready to face the consequences when I get to the destination. So this is one principle that I live by, and it has really, really worked for me. It has helped me to take better care and be more in charge of my decisions. So the second principle I live by is that time changes everything. Like, time changes everything. And I know that the principle of time comes in different dimensions, and time is such a powerful tool, and we all have equal access to it. And I just believe that it does change a lot of things in our lives, because there was a time that I used to hold on to so much anger and so much hurt from this particular person. And not really a particular person. I remember that there was a time that I found it so difficult to forgive people and to let go of pain and hurt. And it was just a very stressful period of my life. I realized that whenever I withdraw from that situation, from that space, somehow I begin to gradually let go of that pain. I begin to see things differently, and I realized that maybe if I did not do certain things as well, maybe things would have turned out differently. Do you guys get? But anyway, that's not the point of this whole talk. My point is that with time, every pain, every hurt, every experience, every achievement, every victory, not just the negative, but every positive and negative experience in life, it will fade away, it will go. You know, that's why we've heard cases, or we've heard people say things like, oh, that person used to be the leading person in our field, or this particular brand used to be the biggest brand in those days, and what happened to them with time? They no longer exist. So what I have come to tell myself when it comes to negative experience or negative emotions, I just tell myself that it will pass, you know, time will change everything for you. So I have learned not to hold on to that experience anymore. I've learned not to hold on too tight to negative experience. And when it comes to positive experience, I also tell myself that yes, this is good. Enjoy the moment, live in the moment, celebrate yourself. In fact, I love to celebrate my victories. You know, I celebrate my achievements, I celebrate my victories, but I also tell myself that this can also pass. This can also fade away. So the most important thing is for me to stay connected to my source of strength, stay inspired, and just continue to move ahead. So basically, I've learned how to simply learn from my experiences, not to hold on to them so tight, and to just understand that time changes a lot of things. Yeah, that is another principle that I live by, and it has also worked for me as well. So the third principle I live by is that life will be for you how you see it, okay? The principle of perspective. And I know that this is one very common principle. A lot of people say this, a lot of people know about this, they believe this, but somehow it doesn't resonate with us until, you know, you have a personal encounter or you have a personal experience with these things. You know, that is the way it was for me. So I read a book a long time ago. During the period, I was still in Nigeria at that time, and I was job hunting at that time. In fact, that period was a very funny period of my life. So my routine would be to wake up in the morning, to study my Open Heavens devotionals. Then I will begin to apply at different job portals. Then after that, I will spend the rest of the day either eating and thinking about how things are not working for me, how I'm just stagnant, how I'm just there, you know, just be miserable all day. And then by evening, I would prepare to go for my ICANN class lessons. At that time, I was not even seeing that, you know, what I was doing with my ICANN was something. I was just feeling miserable because I've not gotten a job. So I remember reading this book called Attitude is Everything. And this particular story struck me in that book. So the author was supposed to go for a meeting or a conference. I can't remember clearly what it was, but when he got to the airport, his flight got cancelled, and he was so angry, and everything seemed like, you know, nothing was working, and he was so angry, he was about to, you know, unleash his anger on the lady at the counter, or the man, I don't know who he was, I can't remember. So as he was about to do that, he just saw another man who was supposed to be on the flight with him as well. The man just went ahead and he sat down, took his newspaper, and he was reading. So it was like, why would this person just do, like, are you not supposed to be angry? Then he went ahead and he went to meet the man, and he was like, oh, why are you sitting down to read newspaper? Well, don't you know something just happened to us right now, you know? And the man looked at him and he was like, so what should I do? Can you tell me what I should do? And then it occurred to him that really, what are they supposed to do, you know? And it was also funny. So I don't know, somehow I internalized it, and I was like, oh, so this period of waking up and being miserable all day, it just depends on how I want to, you know, to look at that period of my life. It's either it can either be for me to wake up and be miserable all day, or I can choose to spend that period of my life equipping myself. It didn't occur to me to do something else. I just felt like if I don't get a job, then something is wrong with me. So the way I was looking at my situation at that period was totally different from the way somebody else would have looked at that situation. So when I read the book, it was really eye-opening, and it was like, you know what? It depends on how you see things. Life would always be how you see things. It's up to you to choose the lens that you want to see life from. So yes, that's another principle that I live by now, and it's something that has really, really helped me to always be calm, you know, to always enjoy the moment even when things are not really happening. So I have chosen to look at life from a perspective of positivity, from a perspective that things will always work out for me at the end of the day. Things will always work out for my good. So yeah, the principle of perspective is another principle that I live by. So if you've enjoyed this video so far, or you've learned something from this video, please give this video a thumbs up, click on the like button, and also leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on these principles that I've mentioned so far, and also leave me a comment on the principles you live by that has really worked for you so far in life. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So another principle that I live by is that you may never get back as much as you give out. So you may never get in return as much as you give to people or to the world. And that is the principle of selfless generosity. So I consider myself a very generous person, if I do say so myself. So I consider myself a very generous person, and not just with money, but with my words, with my attention, with time. Maybe not so much with time, I don't know, but maybe just my style is just so different. Yeah, but I consider myself a very generous person. But I've come to understand that if you are generous to people, if you are giving, if you are generous to others because you want them to do so in return, you are going to be very unhappy for the best part of your life. So if you are being generous, if you are kind, if you're compassionate because you want somebody else to do so for you in return, you may be unhappy for the best part of your life because people will never give you as much as you give out. It's just, that's just it. You don't want to do something because you're expecting in return. No. An extraordinary life for me is a life of inner fulfillment and external impact on other people's life. So if I rely on the reward of external impact, if I rely on the reward of influencing other people's life for me to be fulfilled internally at every point, I don't think something is wrong. I feel like I'm not going to be happy. I feel like I'm robbing myself of the benefits of being generous. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So I always tell myself that you cannot get as much as you give out. So just give. It doesn't matter. So if I cannot give something out of my free will, out of an open mind, with gladness, if I can't do something for someone because I want to do it, then I won't do it at all. And this also helps me to remove the feeling of entitlement. That feeling of entitlement is something that limits us as women, as people, as Africans, as human beings, and that is something that I am conscious about. I just don't want to have that feeling. I don't want that thing to be my culture, to be a part of me. So that's how I keep myself in check. I tell myself, you just cannot get as much as you give out. So just practice selfless generosity. Just give with joy. Don't bother how much you get in return. Just give. When you need something, God is going to provide it for you. So don't even rely on the reward of external impact. So that's another principle I live by. And this has worked perfectly for me. Like, I live a happy, relaxed life because of this, honestly. So the last principle that I'm going to mention in this video, of course, these are not the only principles that I live by, but I'm just going to limit it to these 5. It's not too late to start again, and it's too early to give up. It's not too late to start anything, but it's too early to give up on that thing. So whenever I want to start a project, whatever it is I want to do, whenever I want to make a decision, I try to tell myself, when I get tired or when I get frustrated, when I get to that period, that frustration period when you begin something, I just remind myself that, Yemi, calm down. If something is not working for you, it's not too late to start again, but it's too early to give up on it. So you have to give it more time. I try to give it more time. I give it more time. I give it more time. Then when I'm eventually sure that I'm certain that, yeah, this thing is not working for me, then I'm not afraid to start over again. I'm not afraid to start something else, to look for another strategy. That is not a problem for me. But giving up too early is something that I don't like to do. Like, I don't like abandoned projects. I don't like abandoned projects. So giving up too easily is something that I always tell myself that no, try, give it your best. This is another principle that has helped me not to have so many abandoned projects in my life. So these are the 5 principles that I live by. So I challenge you to take some time to look inward and figure out the principles that drive your life. Are these principles leading you to an extraordinary life, or they are leading you to a place where you just settle? So I want you to really take some time to figure that out for yourself. Like I said earlier, understanding the underlying principles for life will help you to live your best life as a lady. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment on the principles that you live by and that has worked for you. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Click the subscribe button and the bell notification so you never miss out an upload from me. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you in my next one. You are special and I love you guys.